and I pulled some random ones up, like Four of Wands, right? Like it's that's about celebration, community. So just as an example, so when this wand comes up, if what you're struggling with or dealing with, or you're trying to refill, like refill the well, something tells me that's going to be a phrase that we come back to, which is funny because it's so interesting because Black and brown women will say things like, honey, you can't fill up nobody else's cup if your own cup isn't full. You got to pour into yourself. But again, sometimes we say these things
and
like
don't
they're
practice
insults.
it.
Yeah, but we never really taught anybody how to do it. So this is where we learn how to do it. But anytime one of these cards comes up, like Four of Wands, celebration, do I feel celebrated? And if I don't, and other people in my life aren't willing to do it, how can I do that for myself? Like, how can I do that for myself? Another one, Eight of Wands, like a lot of Sagittarian energy there, like literally 8 wands flying through the air. And we like to think of the mythic, right? Like the mythic archer, like firing these arrows, they're on fire and they fall to the ground. And just as exciting as shooting the wands is it, chasing them down. And a lot of times it has to do with like busyness and busy work. Again, if this comes up, not only what am I overburdened, you know what I mean? Like, what am I overburdened with? Am I dealing with too much? Am I a little overloaded? How can I replace one of these and insert myself? Like, what am I doing? How am I actively working for me, towards me, in service to me? So just as an overarching, as we're kind of talking about this, and as you're getting to know the suit of wands, starting from the very beginning with the ace, going all the way to the 10 and all through the face cards, let's think about that, right? Like us, you, if ever there was a time to focus on you, the self, it's right now. And and let's just start from, maybe it's not where you want it to be. Maybe the esteem of self is not where it's supposed to be. You're not feeling, you're getting to know your intrinsic value, but not quite sure how to live that and how to grow it and develop it. So yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this today.
I think I want to actually bring up something that happened recently that I noticed just in the zeitgeist, because Black women really do, along with that whole strong Black woman, we can handle anything. There is this idea that we have so much self-esteem. We can really get anybody that we want, like we're just walking goddesses and we know it, right? Without really realizing that there was a lot of work to get there. If you're seeing that was a lot of work to get there. And half the time you're seeing it, it's not totally true. It's like it's an acting as if going on. I was thinking about recently, I saw online, Lupita Nyong'o was experiencing like the death of a relationship, and basically having a public, very public breakup, and being very, very candid and very like vulnerable about the feelings that she was having. And people, were very supportive. And then there was also some folks who were just like, how can Lupita Nyong'o have a problem? Like somebody doesn't worship her. How is that possible? And I think she got like a cat or something, and people were just like, I can't believe that she got a cat, like she's Lupita Nyong'o, And I loved it because I just thought, this is a woman. She's beautiful and she's stunning, and she has an aura, as the Koreans love to say she has an aura, right? And she also, she is not what she is living with the stigmas that come with being Black and brown in this country or in this world. And something that you said earlier, Halicue, like dating is different for the Black and brown woman. It's different from white women. It's different from Asian women. It's different, right? Yeah. When you're talking about a woman that has been placed societally lower on the totem pole, you have to go so much higher just to get to even, right? And so, yes, Lupita Nyong'o, right? Yeah. And if you think about it, some of the women, Black and brown women that we really do put on pedestals, who did they end up with, right? Who did they let into their lives? We're talking about our Whitney Houstons, our Tina Turners, our Rihannas even.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on a second. Here's my my friend's cat making an appearance.
Sorry,
Okay. No worries.
familiar alert.
Yes, exactly, right?
Familiar
Things
coming
got a little
through.
too familiar.
I mean, we are talking about esteem of the self. The cat had to come through, but like, yes.
Exactly. Yes, I need y'all to know that I'm here and I hear you and I'm working for you.
Yes.
But yeah, if you think about it, the women that we, Halle Berry, all of these women that we, Black and brown women, even Jennifer Lopez, like even
Yes.
these women that we really think have such high self-esteem, if we look at the evidence, if we look at the evidence of what their romantic lives look like, it didn't show up that way, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I think that's why I want to get into their charts at some point.
Yeah.
And really look and see what's going on in there. I know, Rihanna, Whitney Houston, and Tina Turner all have very similar things in their chart that point to this. And I'm going to talk about it today, the astrology of it.
Yeah, going back into Black history, like we know who else kind of talked about this, like, and I can't quote it verbatim, although I should, because I certainly memorized the Lemonade album at one point. I'll never forget. And the reason I bring this up too is because, or Lemonade and Beyonce, like I think we all remember where we were, right? When we didn't even know what she was doing. I remember, like, I just told my family, like, leave me alone. I don't even know what this is. She told me to be told me to turn on HBO, and she told me to be here at 9:00. I'm here at 9:00. And then as we're listening, we're all like, and what?
I
Beyonce
know.
feeling who? Becky with the shoe. You got Beyonce out here crazy. Like, she's losing her mind. She's not attractive. Like, she's the baddest bitch on earth. And I bring this up because also in the zeitgeist, right freaking behind Lupita Nyong'o was Meg Thee Stallion. This last week, she came out with this new single called Cobra. It's actually gorgeous. I got to try to find a t-shirt. And I don't know if you noticed on TikTok, like Megan has been, everyone was like, what is she doing? Because her body is crazy. Like, she's sharing all of her workouts. Like, when you think the waist couldn't get any smaller, when the cheeks could not get any more glossy and beautiful, here she comes. And again, as we're listening to this, like 3 and 4 stanzas in, I miss my mom, I miss my mom. I've got all these blessings, but I feel like I want to end it all, like, over what this man did. But girl, is wonderful too. And I want you all to think of this episode like this. The main theme, Cobra, the entire video was about her shedding the skin, girl. Like the whole, it was like Lovecraft Country, we talk about that a lot. Like there was this visual of all of this stuff coming out and just rebirth. Like in Western culture, we've kind of taken the snake and we've turned it into like treacherous, like and almost always like another treacherous female. No. The snake is about transformation, rebirth. It's all over the tarot. And let this be that. If you are coming to this podcast from a place of injury, from a place of maybe living in your shadow for like too long, projecting that hologram out there, like the esteem of self is all the way up here, but it's not. And I if that's where you are, this is the podcast for you. And if you know somebody else like dealing with this, send this to them too. Because Karrie, for a lot of women, that's how they first even start investigating their astrology. Certainly one of the ways I picked up tarot.
For sure.
Yeah. Like some, like I call it like a life-threatening event, some near-death event in their, near-death event like in their life. So that's where we're coming from. Let's assume that maybe we, us, you are in a place where it's feeling real wobbly, but you want to address it. And maybe you don't. Yeah, maybe you don't know how. We're here to talk to you and to help you about that. Help you with that.
And when we're talking about Black and brown women, we're talking about the conditioning they got from home, but also what we get in society, right? Because Black and brown women are considered the property of society, right? So the property of the home and the property of society, right? So there's a conditioning that is happens at home, which is that you are servant of this home. You are servant of the emotional labor. We've talked about this, Halicue, of this home. Like, this is how you serve this house. This is how you serve this race. This is how you serve this, whatever. And then out in society, they're tiny little, I guess, microaggressions, or maybe I would call them micro gaslights. Okay, that people don't even realize they're doing, constantly putting out this information. One of those ones that I have kind of caught on to lately is this trend that a lot of men have of saying like women aren't special or you're not special, right? And this idea of like, oh, there's women out there, everybody looks good, women a dime a dozen, you're not special. And even some women have, and especially young girls have caught on to this, like, they'll say it to other girls, well, you're not special, like, and you have to think about this, like, what is the point of telling someone they're not special, right? It's a conditioning, right? Because it doesn't hurt you at all if they think they're special, right? So why do you have to have an entire group of people thinking they're not special, right? So that you can feel like you are.
Yeah.
So this is, so I want people to start looking at where there's little tiny conditionings all over, from your home life to even your own relationships to society out in the world, ways that your family might treat you, or if neighbors might treat you, like you, or the way you treat yourself, kind of this idea of like, what do you call those? I'm different. I'm a different girl because I don't think I'm special. I'm one of the guys, right? And you're like, nah, no, I'm special. Sorry. Okay. So this is how, when you start to feel that way, what I love about astrology is that we can look in our charts, like, especially if I have a moment like where I'm like just chugging along life. And then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm not feeling so good. I'm feeling really vulnerable. I'm not having a lot of self-esteem. Like, I'm a Leo, like I usually walk around and like, hey, I kind of own this place. And wherever I am, I'm shining this light and there is a joy about it. But sometimes I'll have these moments where it's just like I'm crabby and I'm not feeling up to it, or I'll notice that I'm not bringing my full light. It's like, that's when I look at my astrology chart. Now, you can look at it in terms of what's going on natally for you, what's always been there natally, which is part of your soul journey and what you were meant to learn and to work with. Or you can look at it in transit and say, what's happening in transit right now? And so the couple of places that you always want to take a look at in astrology is what's going on in your second house. The second house is the house of self-value, material resources, security, stability, and comforts. Okay. And so it represents what's real and what's tangible. And if we don't have self-esteem, we have a very hard time attracting stuff that is real and tangible, whether that's a relationship or someone to love us, or actual money or actual property or actual resources. So for Black and brown women, you can absolutely tie the the socioeconomic background or lack thereof to the level of self-esteem that you have.